It is Thursday, February 27th. It is time to get in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is SP3. We are coming off of a pretty hot Dynamite last night. One of our best shows ever. Over 1 million in the attendance. It'd be crazy if they did 1 million in
More.
It'd be insane. Can you imagine?
Highest attended wrestling event ever.
What would people say if they did 1 million fans in attendance? What would the goalposts move to if AEW did 1 million fans in attendance?
Didn't do 1.1. Who cares?
How many of those tickets did Tony buy himself to do 1 million people? Were they all just like AI robots?
They would go to the government for whatever city it's in and be like, "I need the turnstile count. Yeah. I need the turnstile. I don't believe this at all."
Turnstile count's only 9,098.
You see, he lied. He lied. Yep. There's no way he would do 1 million.
There's no stadium that holds 1 million people. Where would you even do that? You'd have to hold it in the desert or something. Just put a ring in the middle of the desert and then just have people just come up. There's no sitting. You're who did WCW Bash at the Beach where they held the show on the beach, and yes. Tony Schiavone.
I think was that 95.
Yeah,
95, yeah. When they had the lifeguard match with Ric Flair and Macho Man.
Tony Schiavone says at the beginning of that show, there's he might have said there's 1 million people there. Tony Schiavone says something outrageous at the beginning of that show of how many fans are in attendance. Now I kind of want to go back and listen to it to double check, but
go back and watch the show all together now.
I mean, watch the show on your own time, people. Watch us right now. I'm gonna listen because Tony Schiavone does say something insane at the beginning of this show. I might have actually tweeted it once, so I might not actually have to listen to it. I might just be able to just pull up my tweet. I can't imagine I tweet about Tony Schiavone too often. He'll probably block me. He likes to do that.
Oh, poor Tony. He had to block you because of your opinion.
Nah, I think Tony didn't block me, but
Tony's a good friend. Good friend of the podcast.
Yeah. I'd like to have Tony Schiavone on. It'd be great.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
He's got a bunch of good stories that I would ask. I would not care one bit about what's going on today in AEW. I just want to know about old stories.
How was it working with Mark Madden?
I definitely wouldn't ask that.
How was it working with Scott Hudson?
Scott Hudson, maybe that might be okay.
The goat, Scott Hudson. Did Ed Pereira yell in your ear a lot in 1999?
Everybody, if you're here, leave a thumbs up on the video. I can't find a tweet, so leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Leave us a super chat. Get your question, comment, statement read on the air. What else is there? I don't know. Tap the bell for notifications. All that fun stuff. Check out all the shorts and stuff that we have done. Check out all the articles and whatnot that we have done. Oh yeah, check it all out. It's Bash at the Beach 94, by the way. It was not 95. No, 94. It might be 95. The setting for 94 is makes it look like they're in a beach background, but I do think it is. You're right, and it is 95.
Yeah, I'm pretty good on my Bash at the Beach memory. Bash at the Beach blast memory.
Why is the Peacock search so bad? Why can't I find Bash at the Beach 1995?
Well, you're lucky because I probably couldn't even find it on Netflix now.
I found it. All right, let's listen to the beginning of this show and see what Tony Schiavone says and see how many fans he claims is in attendance on the beach for Bash at the Beach 1995. Now, sorry that Joel's not here to be negative, everybody. He'll be here tomorrow. I'm sure he'll have things that he disliked about AEW and will be very
and
mean
still
about
wants to talk
AEW.
about it after we go through it in depth here on the show. He still wants to talk about it. He still has to get his shots in.
Because we say nice things, and so Joel has to come in and say, mean things. That's what has to happen there.
Yeah, I started doing this show in a good month for AEW. I think if we started doing Tuesday and Thursday shows in January, especially after that like January 29th episode, you probably wouldn't have heard good things from me. But yeah, it's been a good month for AEW. So you get nice stuff from us in regards to AEW here on Thursdays. But yes, we got to talk about AEW. We got a very special guest joining us today from MLW, good friend of the channel, BRG, going to be joining us at 10:20 a.m. Eastern time. And then we'll go in more depth with AEW Dynamite from last night. We'll talk about Swerve Strickland, if he can fix Prince Nana's legacy and get back the robe from Ricochet, if MJF and Hangman Adam Page needed Christopher Daniels to bloody himself. I think that's what he was doing. He was like,
that was, yeah, we'll talk about that.
if they needed Christopher Daniels to bloody themselves to intensify their feud, the Death Riders actually had breaking news. The Death Riders had a very good segment last night. I know. I'm as shocked as all of you. I am very shocked. I'm very surprised.
I have a prediction about the Death Riders and what's going to happen at Revolution. I'm going to save it. That's a tease, everybody. We're going to save it until after our guest joins us. Yes, BRG is scheduled to join us at about 10 minutes from now at 10:20. I've been informed it's his birthday today. So,
sweet.
We'll get into some birthday talk with BRG. Yes. We're going to ask him for his favorite meat. That's apparently a thing we do on this show, is we ask people for their favorite meat. Akira gave us a good answer. He talked about how his steak, he likes a medium rare steak, and he likes the mashed potatoes and all the greens and all mixed up in there.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting. Medium rare. I'll just
how do you take your steak?
He's lucky. I wasn't. I wasn't on here. That's disgusting.
How do you take your steak, SP3?
Medium well.
Medium well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the proper. I was a steakhouse aficionado. I think I've said it on this channel before. I know I've told you a couple of different times. I used to be a hotel concierge before I started doing this full time. That was my occupation, hotel concierge. So I used to go to steakhouse for free, like pretty much once a week. It was very helpful, especially before I met my missus. When I was taking out dates, it was just free. It was free on the house. All I had to do was just tip my waiter. That was a pretty good dates I used to go on.
Did they know it was free? Like, did they know that it was? No. Oh, so you got the check, and then how did that work?
They sometimes used to ask me. They used to ask me like, "Oh, did you take care of the check?" I'll say, "Yeah." I just say yeah.
Didn't ask questions after that?
No.
I would have been like, I didn't see you pay for any of this.
I took my mom. I had to get reminded by my mom recently that I took her out for like Mother's Day. I took my mom and my two sisters out for Mother's Day and got at the steakhouse too. It's like, man, it used to be mad helpful for birthdays, for my family and stuff like that. Going on dates, looking good, just having a regular dinner. Sometimes it was just fine. It was just cool to go to a different steakhouse. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if it's free, I'd be using that all the time too.
It was great. I had that hookup. I had the car service hookup. So I was making money on the side, man. I was living a good life, man. It was a good couple of years there. But yeah, but I was taught going to those steakhouse that the best way to get it was medium well, because I'm black. And I know if there's any black people watching, we don't do that. We don't do medium well. We don't do medium rare. We don't do rare. We do well done. And I had to learn that I had to be reminded that it's something that us as Black folks we do. Is when I went to a steakhouse for my nephew's birthday earlier this month, and all him and all of his friends were asking, because it was like a big like buffet style like full course and stuff at the steakhouse for my nephew's birthday, and him and all of his friends who are around like 20, 21, they all wanted the steak well done. I'm like, like you guys are not. You're not supposed to be here. You don't know what you're getting. You don't know what you're doing. It's like medium well. Medium well is how you get it done. But they all wanted it well done, which it was still good. It was still good steak, but you don't get the flavor.
I like my steak medium. I don't know if that offends people.
That's fair. That's fair. That's just one level up from medium well, pretty much. Yeah. So that's fair.
Yeah, I prefer my steak to be medium. All right, we have breaking news on this show. It's not really that important, but
breaking news.
Yeah, real quickly, I'm going to get to this super chat from Chris because it is not wrestling related, and we always appreciate non-wrestling super chats. Chris says, the Pistons won again, 8 in a row. Cade top 5 MVP, JB coach of the year, Beasley 6th man. Chris is excited about basketball again.
I'm happy for Pistons fans, man. It's been too long.
I had the Pistons. That was one of my hot takes. Whether the Pistons were going to be, this was early in the season. I had them in the playoffs. I was high on Cade Cunningham coming into the season. I got a little worried to start the season, but I've been a fan of Cade Cunningham, and I'm glad to see him really put it all together. I'm going to say I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but Tobias Harris has really helped that team. I don't know what his numbers are. I don't really care about his numbers too much. One, he's making less than, the $80 million that the Sixers were paying him. But
yeah,
he helps them as like, it's no longer just a bunch of young dudes who don't quite know how to play together. He is a professional, and you need those veteran guys in that locker room. So I think Tobias Harris has been really helpful. Maybe not so much on the court, although I think he's been fine on the court. He's been helpful from a locker room perspective. And look, JB got a bad rap in Cleveland. I mean, he did really well with that team, and they lost last year partly because of all the injuries in the playoffs. And it seems like him and Mitchell might have clashed because Mitchell re-signed like 2 days after it was announced that he got fired. So I was like, oh, okay. Why would that happen there? So it feels like him and Mitchell might have clashed, but he was a good coach. He kind of just got scapegoated in Cleveland, and now he's doing well in Detroit. And look, it was a rightful move for Cleveland. Clearly they've leveled up as well. I do think like having a fully healthy roster for pretty much all season has also really helped them, but they've still, really leveled up past where even a fully healthy roster was probably going to take them with JB. So it all worked out for everybody, I think. So good on the Pistons. I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I think the playoffs are going to be good this year. I feel like it's maybe more open than people think it is.
I respect your opinions, Chris. I do agree with a bunch of that. Maybe Cade is making a case for MVP consideration. I don't know if he's going to be in the top 5. I think Beasley will be a last one of the candidates for 6th man of the year, and I think JB is the number one, in my mind. In regards to coach of the year, there is some other coach who's doing very well with a team that once was a play-in team and now is looking like the top 3 in the tougher conference of the Western Conference. I'm just saying, a guy that certain people on this podcast were just claiming he's just a podcaster and he wasn't the better option for us, even though other people on this podcast believed in him from day one, believed in him even more than that Connecticut coach who turned us down. I believed in JJ Redick, and I think JJ is a top 2 coach of the year candidate.
Y'all are completely forgetting about the guy I just mentioned, and that's Kenny Atkinson, who, if the Cavs finish with the best record, he's going to win Coach of the Year. He just
That's
is.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Why
He's top three.
He's going to win Coach of the Year.
I think JJ or JB is the top two in my opinion.
Let's see what the odds say right now, because that's usually a fair indication of how they think things are going to go. I feel like Kenny Atkinson, y'all are just completely overlooking. Dude, the Cavs have the best record in the league. No one thought the Cavs were going to have the best record in the league. People thought the Lakers would be good. They still had LeBron. They still had Davis. They traded for Luka. Absurd trade. Still can't believe that's a real thing, honestly. I think JB is probably going to get more love than JJ, because the Pistons were almost historically bad last year. And if they're a top 4 team, I think
JB should be the Coach of the Year in my opinion. But Kenny Atkins, I could see him leaping over JJ, because they all hating on JJ. Everybody always hating on JJ Redick.
All right. Well, FanDuel doesn't have Coach of the Year odds up, so maybe we'll check that afterwards. Before that, we have a special guest. He is back on the show. He is possibly competing in Battle Riot. Not officially announced yet, but I'm going to assume he is competing in Battle Riot.
We can get the scoop here.
Yeah. Battle Riot is April 5th. It'll air on YouTube in Los Angeles. Sorry. April 5th in Los Angeles. It is Battle Riot for the MLW World Championship. From MLW, returning to the show, it is BRG. BRG, how you doing, man?
Back by popular demand. We love to see it.
Now we want the scoop if you're going to be in Battle Riot, but before we get to that, we did get a scoop earlier, and we were told it is your birthday.
It is my birthday, yes. And
Happy
honestly,
birthday.
We've been celebrating all month, but today's the big day. And I appreciate the birthday shout out. I appreciate that.
Well, happy birthday. Do you have any plans besides being on this show? It's all downhill after this, I assume.
Absolutely. Well, obviously the buddies are coming up. It's going to be a good weekend of partying and just celebrations all week long. So can't wait.
So we've had a theme on the show this entire week, and that we've asked our guests, and it is, what is your favorite meat?
My favorite meat. I mean, I love a good steak.
Okay.
Big on steak.
All right. Now we got to ask how you take your steak.
Rare, obviously.
Rare, obviously.
Yeah.
What? Just don't even get the steak.
Just
get the meat.
Just eat the cow.
Just eat the
I love my
cow.
steak mooing. I like it nice and bloody. That's for sure.
Oh man. Yeah, we've been talking a lot about meat this week. Akira takes his medium rare. So if you want to share steak advice with Akira, that's how he takes his.
Oh Jesus! I'd rather not have a conversation with that guy. Just
he seems like a nice guy. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, when he's not threatening to put a staple on my nuts. Sure.
Well, that's fair. He is a little insane when it comes to that.
A little.
I'm trying to be nice. He was just on the show yesterday.
Well, I understand.
Yeah.
Journalistic integrity, I understand.
Well, as a fair and well-balanced journalist endeavor, sadly, the last time we talked to you, it was before the honey trap match.
Yeah.
And now we've had the honey trap match, and that didn't go so well. How, is there still honey in your ears or anything? How do you get that off of you? What is that experience like?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm still finding feathers in some of my ring gear and in a lot of my other clothes in general. But I will say, since Super Fight 6, since that honey trap match, the wheels have been turning and new plans are in place to make sure it doesn't happen again. Make sure I never get embarrassed like that ever again.
Do you know what kind of honey it was?
It was disgusting. I can tell you that.
So we talked to Paul London as well. And he, by the way, we told him your real name was Brett Ryan Gosselin. And he said he had more respect for you after learning that. He thought you were doing the fake Ryan Gosselin thing. And I was like, no, he was on our show. He said that was his real name. He's like, oh, I kind of respect him more now after that. It didn't matter once you got to the honey trap match.
Yeah. Oh.
He said he wanted to do like organic honey, some type of like highly expensive honey. So I didn't know if he had a say in it or if you had a say and what kind of.
How do you like your honey? How do you like your honey?
High class, and I don't know. I just personally don't have any favor towards honey anymore. I'd rather never see it again. I'd rather just have it completely banned from the United States.
Oh,
my opinion after that whole situation.
Oh, see, we weren't sure if you would go that route or like lean into it and you would like come out and you got like the bear squirt bottles and you'd start squirting people with the honey, like make them feel your pain.
I have PTSD because of that match. I would rather not freak out every single time I see honey. So I already said to everybody, like, do not ever have honey in your household ever again, or else I will just throw it out immediately.
I like this gimmick too, where you just go to people's houses and just start banning honey from their houses.
I'll just throw it out the window. I don't care.
Just get rid of it all. So I got the opportunity to actually see you live in New York City just over a year ago. I think this was back in like February of 2024, and I just instantly I fell in love with just the BRG. I think it was you and Data Steel together, and just that whole act. But kind of tell us like how it's been the past year. You know, honey trap. Besides that, how has been the last year in MLW and how you've kind of improved on certain elements, and what do you think has been the one thing that has stood out the most for you over the course of this past year in Major League Wrestling?
Did we break up a little bit there? We all good?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good now.
Perfect. All right. So I heard the question, just to be fair. Congratulations first off for getting to see me live. I know that's a privilege and that's a complete experience in itself. Last year, there's definitely been a complete transformation in who BRG is in MLW. And personally, everything that you've seen has been premeditated, coordinated from the start since I made my debut all the way back at the end of 2023. This year, you are seeing more and more of my more calculated side. I mean, the Rogue Horseman was a thing in the making for months at that point before we even debuted as a crew, as a unit. Everything was in place for months on end, and now you're getting this. Now you get to experience it in full. It's been an incredible ride to work with Bobby Fish, Brock Anderson, and CW Anderson, and the more knowledge that I keep getting from all these fantastic minds and this fantastic lineage in wrestling, it's improved my game even more than I expected.
Where's one area that you think that you really feel you've leveled up, whether it was through their advice or just kind of rewatching stuff?
I would definitely say in how I approach matches. I look at things through a different lens. I don't like to go fully in detail, but on top of that, I would also say my presentation has been a lot better. On top of also putting the psychology together in matches. I love to thank CW Anderson and Bobby Fish especially for passing down a lot of the knowledge that they've gained over the years and really helped push that into who I am as a performer now.
So have you gotten back and like watched any of their old tapes? Because you got two of the best like kind of veterans out there in the wrestling world in Bobby Fish and CW Anderson that you're learning from. And kind of what would be like one match you would say for people to watch from these two guys' career?
from these two. So I would suggest for CW Anderson, I would go back and watch any of his stuff from 01 in Japan. That's a lot of the stuff that I've been watching as of recent. I had no idea because I got into wrestling so late. I find out a lot of things later on. I had no idea that CW and Steve Corino did stuff in Japan. So it's been very fun to go back and look at a lot of that stuff. For Bobby Fish, it's so surreal for me because as I was coming up in wrestling, like I was watching him in Ring of Honor and NXT and all those different places. And Bobby Fish, obviously, he's a tag team specialist. He's been with Kyle O'Reilly for years. If you're a tag team wrestler, I always suggest watching any of his matches. But it's a crazy experience, to say the least, that I get to be a part of these guys' careers now as much as they are a part of my career.
The Rogue Horsemen's had a little bit of issue with the Emmy winner, Paul Walter Hauser. How much does this guy suck?
This guy, look, I respect anybody that comes into professional wrestling because it's not an easy industry to be a part of. But I don't really respect the guys that get the shortcuts. You know, Hollywood actor, has plenty of success in Hollywood, but then he just gets a free ride into professional wrestling, getting to get booked in all these these high-end places, all these top independent companies, and then in MLW. That blows my mind because it took me 10 years just to get to MLW, and this guy gets a free ride just because he has a name attached to him. I don't know. That's just... It rubs me the wrong way, as you can tell.
It's not the first time he skipped ahead in the wrestling business. He's already a sensei in Cobra Kai. What did he do to become a sensei?
I don't know, but God knows my mom sent me a photo of him on Cobra Kai the other night, and I was like, why did you do this to me? Do you remember who your son is?
Was she just trolling you?
You should have thrown that TV out the moment you saw it.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, we brought up the battle riot. This is kind of like the premier stipulation for MLW. So we want to ask, are you going to be in the battle riot? And if you are, what are you or the Rogue Horsemen's kind of strategy going into this big match?
Well, the answer for the first question is yes, I will be in the battle riot this year because I've made it very clear that this year the Rogue Horsemen are going to become a championship franchise. That means everybody's got all the gold. That's the main focus. I've been focused on that since the beginning of 2025, and April 5th we're going to make that a reality. We're going to start that journey. As for strategy, I would never ever give away my strategy on a public platform like this, especially for everybody else to watch and figure it out. So I always keep that stuff close to the vest, but I can promise you that what we have planned will be memorable.
Have you ever fought a child?
I mean, my cousin is 10. He always tries to fight me.
So I'm not bringing this up out of nowhere, a little bit out of nowhere, but one Sydney Bacabella, who fantastic manager, said, "Don't be afraid to fight kids in the crowd that say bad words to you. If I tell you that if you tell the child to meet you outside after the show, 90% of the time they don't show up. If they show up, they don't know how to defend against a side headlock. You'll always win." And you just replied, "It's true." So I didn't know if you were saying it's true from personal experience or if you were just agreeing with it.
I mean, Can I get in trouble for saying the latter? I won't disclose, but let's just say that I completely understand where Sydney Bacabella is coming from. God knows if you threaten a kid with a chair, they just run away screaming. I don't know. I don't understand it. Like, you'd think their parents would raise them better to be a little bit tougher, but who knows?
They're all tough guys behind that guardrail.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone wants to be a big badass until they hop the guardrail and then I kick their ass. Or should I say, I'll just have the Andersons or Bobby Fish kick.
Smart man.
Oh, I love it. So who do you feel is kind of like the biggest threat outside of the Rogue Horseman going into Battle Riot?
Do you really? Let's just say that I don't want to meet up with Minoru Suzuki in the Battle Riot again, but God knows that I have the Rogue Horseman to protect me from that. Besides that, I mean, you have a lot of credible challengers in the Battle Riot this year. Some that haven't been announced, some that have been. Paul Walter Hauser, I would never call a threat ever. That's for sure. I hope Alex Kane does not show up because I would feel really bad for his family to know that we would kick his ass, and that'd be very disappointing for him and his whole Bumaye Fight Club. But, you know, we talk about threats. What do I really have to be threatened by? Like, I'm just like, I'm grasping at straws here just thinking about it because I've never been more confident going into a wrestling match. I have the best 3 men possible backing me up, and the numbers advantage is in our favor. I don't see why BRG doesn't walk away with the MLW title on April 5th. Unless you have a contradicting point.
No, I think I'm talking to the next MLW World Champion.
I'm gonna try to play a little down the middle here. A lot of it depends on when the number comes, though, right? Like if you get number 1, there's 40 people in this thing. That can make it a little difficult. I'm not doubting you, BRG. I'm just saying it makes it a little bit more difficult depending on what number you draw.
It does, but again, I told you, I have a strategy. I'm just not telling you it yet.
I believe you. I believe you. Does the mindset change at all, knowing that it's for the world title instead for a world title shot?
Absolutely. When it's for the world title, it very much puts my goal of making the Rogue Horseman a championship franchise up front and center. I don't have to wait for a title shot now. I can just go and take the damn title by just eliminating 39 other people. That sounds like a fast track to being on top of the world, and I love it.
So I see that you're wrestling all across these multiple promotions. So how do you balance everything out? And especially in this month with you said you've been celebrating your birthday the whole month. How do you balance all your bookings, everything you're doing, interviews like this, working out in the gym, as well as celebrating your special day?
Well, I always try to set some time aside for myself now. When it comes to independent wrestling bookings, I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years now. It's kind of like clockwork at this point. I know how to balance that stuff. With the MLW schedule, obviously it's obviously more to add on to my schedule. But this is just how I've lived my life for the last 10 years. Constantly moving, never getting any rest. The only reason that I have rest this weekend is because I sectioned it off so that me and my buddies could go out partying for the rest of the weekend.
We play a game on the show. I don't remember if we played this with you last time. Did we do partner promo punch in the face?
Yes, we did. Did it with all the Rogue Horsemen.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna switch it up on you this time. So partner promo punch in the face. You know how it works. I apologize for the PTSD. Yogi Bear, Jesus. Winnie the Pooh, and the Bernstein Bears.
Well, I'd partner up with the Bernstein Bears because numbers advantage. I'd punch Winnie the Pooh since he loves honey so much. And I definitely promo against Yogi Bear because that's money.
Yeah. That sounds right. I like your answers there.
Yeah.
That was a good answer.
Yeah. BRG, we appreciate you joining us. Let us know where everybody can find you at.
Everyone can find me on all social media platforms at victorious_BRG.
There you go. Happy birthday again. Enjoy your birthday. Enjoy your bloody steaks with the fellas and everything you're going to get into tonight. Good luck in Battle Riot.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. There you go. BRG, 2-time guest on the show. He's fantastic. He's a lot of fun. Hope he has a great birthday. I had to throw the Bears at him for the partner.
That was good. That was a good one. That was a good switch up.
Joel's going to get
perfect answer by him.
Joel's gonna get mad at me for always doing like, what are you doing? Serial killers? Now you're doing bears? Like, I completely just throw the wrestling stuff out of the window. Who could possibly care about wrestling? SV3.
This is what makes you a great interviewer. So you're a great interviewer.
So I teased breaking news. All right, I've uploaded the photo. SP3.
Yes.
Do you want souls? Because if you want somebody's soul, you can let them know by purchasing The Rock I Want Your Soul t-shirt.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I need this. Oh my god. I gotta take a picture of this and send this to my wife. Oh my god. I want this so They really have this? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my! Oh no! Leave it up.
Oh, I gotta put it back up. Okay.
I'm really taking the picture.
Oh, you're just taking it on the phone.
Oh my god! What? That is amazing.
So
WWE.
everybody...
See, AEW is freaking letting money slip out their hands with the Monet puppet. See how fast WWE works? They got a quote that has been talked about for the last 7 days, and they already made it a t-shirt.
For just $35, everybody, you can let the world know you want their soul with this t-shirt. All right. The Rock's going to collect some souls this week at Elimination Chamber. Or maybe Cody turns it down. We shall see. We'll talk more about Elimination Chamber tomorrow. I know SP3 is doing the prediction show with Stephanie Chase here on the show, or here on Fightful, the main channel, a little bit later on. So I'm sure they'll get into some soul talk. We got a little bit of AEW Dynamite to talk about. And the big news.
Did I say that it's on Tuesday that I'm officially like a Fightful affiliate? Like I have no other ties to anywhere else except for True Hill Heat.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'm officially. I even posted it. You retweeted it, but I don't know.
I read it. I didn't. I might have skipped the part where you said Fightful affiliate.
Well, no. But the two places you can find me now for video content is just Fightful and True Hill Heat, and I'm officially cut ties to everywhere else. So
just cut them all off.
Yes.
We love having you. I finally, after yelling at Sean for months, got you a authoring page on the website. So now you can actually click SP3's name and see all the shows that he has done since I got the authoring page, because I'm too lazy to go back and like tag you in all the other shows that you have done. I'm sorry. I got too much to do, SP3. I got too much to do.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, well, I'm obviously happy to have you. You know, you were my, once I wanted to move the show to 5 days a week, I was like, well, let me ask SP3 and see if he is able to do Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I appreciate you. I'm glad you're always on the channel, and it's a lot of fun, and you've made the right choice. We have your soul now. I hope you know that.
Yes. Jeremy asked me for my soul, and I said yes. Yes, take it. Just take it already.
AEW Dynamite last night. All right, I teased my big Revolution prediction here. I don't know if I haven't seen this, but yeah, I stay away from other people's opinions because they don't actually matter to me, except yours, SBT. Cope has taken out the Death Riders, right? Cope and now Willow Nightingale have taken out the Death Riders. There's nobody left. Yuta is still there. I imagine Yuta is going to get taken out in the next couple of shows. So, John Moxley, Cope, one-on-one. Okay. Doesn't feel like Cope's going to win unless they do the Cope wins and Christian cashes in, which is very possible. But I'm thinking new Death Riders member. And I'm thinking Jack Perry makes his return and helps John Moxley retain the AEW championship at AEW Revolution. And Jack Perry officially becomes a member of the Death Riders at Revolution. That's my prediction. That's my hot take.
That would make a lot more sense than him in the Elite. I'll give you that. Him with the scapegoat character joining up with the Death Riders, and it would pay off one of the early things, which the Death Riders haven't paid off with a lot of their early things, like them injuring Private Party, which led to Private Party going on to win the tag team titles. Them being a threat to AEW led to Daniel Garcia winning the TNT Championship. Never followed up and said that those were the things that they basically resulted in. But you can pay off one of the early scenes when they had that little interaction with Moxley and Perry, and he was like, "I like this kid. I like this kid." And then he walked off, and you could pay that off here.
Yeah, they never followed up to that. Everyone thought they were going to follow up or thought that was going to go somewhere. And they never really did. Maybe they didn't have a plan. Maybe it wasn't going to go anywhere. Feels like now they have a good opportunity to make it mean something and have it go somewhere by Jack Perry coming in and helping Jon Moxley at Revolution. So that's my prediction, everyone. That's my hot take. We'll see what happens next week. We'll talk more about that match next week, but that's my prediction on things. One match that we know is going down at Revolution: Swerve Strickland, Ricochet, where the winner gets an AEW world title shot and the winner gets the robe. And if Swerve does not get the robe, Prince Nana said, "I don't know if I can manage you if you can't do this for me." What do you think of this segment, SP3?
I thought it was the best segment on the show. I thought everybody played their roles superbly here. Swerve Strickland was the right kind of poise, but yet you could still feel the anger towards Ricochet off of the loss, but kind of just ridiculing the loss, saying that it was a low blow win for him. But man, Ricochet has just been. I think Ricochet is the best heel character in wrestling right now. I'm trying to rack my head, and I love Kevin Owens on WWE, but there's a portion of like the internet wrestling community that feels like Kevin Owens is the babyface because he is telling the truth on a lot of the things that he says. So I think that Ricochet is like the unanimous like heel. Like the reaction he's been getting ever since the scissor spot has been like complete and utter disdain from these AEW crowds. Like it's great to me. Like I think Joe made a good suggestion talking about the whole Ricky Starks reaction on NXT with the Tony fumbled and how, AEW fans, if you want to play into it, you could be like Hunter fumbled to Ricochet, but they're not going to do that. They're too busy. Boo! Boo! You geek! Boo! They hate him so much. He's so good. And he plays this cocky role so well. It's like, where the hell has this been? Where's this been this whole time? I've seen you for the better part of 10, 15 years in the wrestling business, where you were just a flippy wrestler guy, and he's just tapped into a whole different type of personality, and just the little things like him having the Philadelphia Eagles cap and turn it around. I'm a winner. So when you talk about a winner, you're talking into a void of nothingness. Say it with me, y'all. No one said it with them. They're still booing. He's so great in this role. But I think that Prince Nana is adding the right layers to the whole segment. And I think that you can't like not praise Prince Nana's role in this feud. And the fact that he set this up perfectly with what it was like a 1 minute video package that recapped the matchup 2 weeks ago. And then you saw the little split-ins with Ricochet's interview and then Swerve and Nana, where he was like, why do you have to make things so personal with everybody? And in Swerve's reaction, I liked his response saying that the last time that I let things go, my house got burned down and all this. I got hit in the head with a steel chair, so I'm not letting this one go. But the reason why Nana is even questioning him now is because finally, after all these times, and I like what Nana said last night, he's like, I've taken bullets for you for Hangman. I've taken bullets for you for Sting, for the Hurt Syndicate, now Ricochet. But this is the first time that it's truly affected him. It's truly affected him because his legacy, the embassy crown jewel robe, the role that he bestowed to the late great Jimmy Rave has now been stolen from him. And now Ricochet has it without Prince Nana bestowing it to him like he did to Swerve. It's affecting him. And now he's saying that, yo, if you can't fix my legacy, if you can't get the robe back, I can't do this anymore. So this adds even more stakes. And I like the fact that it was Nana that made the challenge that convinced Ricochet to make this matchup, because it plays into what I've said online. I've said it on here. I think we're gonna get Prince Nana aligning with Ricochet. I really feel, because everything how it sets up, you can go back, and when he does turn on him, everything makes sense, because he's the one that got him the title shot. If he does win at Revolution, if he does become the #1 contender, he's the one that talked to Tony Khan to make this a #1 contenders matchup. In Swerve's mind, it's just his manager trying to get him back to the AEW World Championship, and the fact that he hasn't been focused on it. Meanwhile, Ricochet has been focused on it pretty much from the beginning. His whole goal for being here in AEW is to win championship gold. And despite Swerve making it so personal with him, with the TP, and making fun of him, calling him Trevor, and him snapping the way he did after his win over Swerve, he's like, I'm going back to champion. I'm a winner, so I need championship gold. And the fact that that was his kind of convincing is that making it a #1 contenders matchup. But it's not only that on the line, it's also the robe. It's also the relationship between Nana and Swerve. It's Nana's legacy is on the line. Like, this feels like one of the highest stakes of any matchup on this Revolution card, that has an AEW World title match, that has an international title match with Takeshita and Omega, that has a steel cage match between former friends. But this matchup, this rivalry here, and we have two former world champions battle with Hangman and MJF, but this matchup here feels like it has the highest stakes, that it has the most emotional investment, and I just really am loving like the ride that we're going on with Ricochet and Swerve right now.
I'm more convinced after last night that Nana is also turning. I know you've mentioned it. I know Joel has mentioned it. I didn't fully buy it. I could see it, but I wasn't fully into it. I'm kind of convinced it's happening now. Like, the whole setup last night made me believe, yeah, Nana's going to turn and he's going to help Ricochet. And that way he bestows the robe to Ricochet. He gets Ricochet the title match, and they move forward with that partnership. Because I don't think Swerve necessarily needs Nana. The act works together. It obviously went to a world title, and they were fantastic together. So the act works. I don't even know if Ricochet needs Nana at this point, with the way Ricochet's been going on the microphone. But I think it's a partnership that does make sense. And yeah, I can see it happening for sure. I saw people questioning Ricochet of like, oh, why is he in a #1 contenders match? Why Swerve in a #1 contenders match? He's a giant ass loser. He lost to Lashley. He lost to Hangman. He lost to Ricochet. Why is Swerve in this match? Ricochet's at least been winning matches.
Ricochet has beaten in the past 2-3 months Will Ospreay. He didn't lose to Darby. He went to a time limit draw with Darby Allin, but he defeated Commander. He defeated Brody King. He went to the semifinals of the Continental Classic, and then he beat a former world champion. He's more than earned a opportunity to become #1 contender. I totally agree with you. What was the last big match that Swerve won?
Yeah, he lost to Danielson before that. I guess the title defense.
He lost to Danielson. He lost to Hangman. He lost to Bobby Lashley. Like, he hasn't won. It's just his reputation.
Shelton? I mean, he beat Shelton.
Shelton was the last matchup that he big match that he won on the October 30th edition of AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to count like wins against AR Fox and Leo Rush. But those dudes never win, so I'm not counting those. Max Caster, like, all right, you just beat a bunch of fellow losers, so I'm not counting those as like big time wins. Yeah, Shelton is probably the last actual big win he has. So, yeah, why Swerve in this spot? Ricochet makes sense to be in a #1 contenders match. Swerve makes no sense. I mean, I get why it's a storytelling device, but if you're going to complain about one being in the contendership match, feels like Ricochet's the guy to complain about or Swerve's the guy to complain about more than Ricochet.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that this is more of like Ricochet's. Ricochet has picked up the wins that makes him eligible to become a number one contender, whereas Swerve, it's just that he's a former world champion. I think that it is funny though that this match is the number one contenders matchup when it really felt like the one that needed to be the number one contenders match is MJF and Hangman.
So that's where I believe more that Ricochet is going to win, because I don't think they're going to put the world title on either guy. And I don't think they want to have Swerve like lose a world championship match where Ricochet, it feels like, oh, we can give him this win against Swerve and then it be okay if he loses a world championship match. Especially if the thing is, if Moxley's the champion coming out of this, Moxley and Ricochet doesn't feel like it's two heels, and I feel one is actually way more effective at what they're trying to accomplish as a heel than the other. And I don't love that dynamic if that's where they go. If it's Cope and Ricochet, I'd probably just put the title on Ricochet, honestly. But
facts. Just immediately go there. It does make sense for Swerve to get the win to do Swerve and Moxley at Dynasty. Yeah. Because that's 1 year from him winning the championship last year. And he feels like someone who could be like a representative of AEW trying to take the title back from Moxley.
And maybe that's where they do end up going, is Swerve does get the win. And then he can just refocus on the world title. He gets the robe back. Him and Nana still stay aligned. He can now focus on the guy who has been, terrorizing the promotion, even though all of his friends got taken out by Copeland and Jay White leading up to Revolution. But Swerve can be the savior of AEW, because it does feel like going into the summer, they're going to reset things and put a big emphasis, as they should, on Swerve, Hangman, Ospreay, and Kenny and MJF. Like, it feels like that's going to be their 5 going into All In, who are all going to have like high profile matches, and Okada, because Kenny and Okada is probably happening at All In. At least they've teased it enough.
And Darby will probably be back. Hopefully
I'm not factoring in Darby until he actually returns.
Until he survives.
Well, yeah, I hope the best for him, but he was clearly a factor in the early stuff, but then whether they didn't realize it or signals got crossed or they just put too much stock into him knowing he was going to be leaving, he's completely been written out of things because he's going to climb Everest. So until he actually is back from Everest, I don't have any plans for him until he comes back, because who knows where the landscape's going to be by the time he comes back. I mean, if their long-term plan is Darby at All In is going to dethrone Moxley, then yeah, I'd probably hold off on like beating guys like Swerve and Hangman and having them fail in this scenario against the Death Riders. Then I'm fine with like, all right, sure, Cope is the challenger to build to a pay-per-view. For Dynasty, if you want to make it a singles match between Moxley and Jay White, because they haven't done that portion yet, then maybe you do that. Like, I'm fine with that, but I wouldn't beat Hangman, I wouldn't beat Swerve in these title matches if your end game is ultimately Darby Allin later on in the year.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario that they're in. I'm hoping that they've already decided to pivot, because man, Moxley beating all these like top guys on his way to losing to Darby, I don't think it's going to have the same effect as I wished it did at the beginning of this angle, because I think at the beginning of this angle we all thought and knew this was going to end with Darby being the Sting to overcome this new version of the NWO, but we did not know it was going to take this long. And I think that if he has to get through, and yeah, it's going to make for bigger pay-per-view main events of Moxley versus your Swerve, Moxley versus Hangman, Moxley versus Kenny, Moxley versus Will. Those are big-time pay-per-view matchups. But you can't just have Moxley and the Death Riders cheat to win all of these, because then we're feeling like we're watching WWE in the summer of 2023 with the Bloodline, except without all the good stuff before then.
They need, maybe Jack Perry will be there. Sami Zayn.
He's the Sammy of the Death Riders. He's gonna come and everything's gonna be all right. He gets accepted by the new family. He got embarrassed against Daniel Garcia or Johnny Knoxville, and now he's ready to be in a new family.
I don't know if Jack Perry has that kind of range. No offense to Jack Perry, but Sami Zayn is legitimately one of the greatest performers in wrestling history. Like the range that man has in the ring and just with his presence and in segments. I haven't seen that from Jack Perry, and I don't know if he's able to really pull that one off. Like the stoic, hey, I'm a boy who rides his dinosaur, ain't Sami Zayn levels of charisma and banter there.
Very true. Very true.
So
I don't know if he can live up to that standard. Yes. We're setting him up for failure by even making the comparison.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be there to add levity, by the way. Like my scenario is he's going to be there to follow the Death Rider mission of let's change the landscape and take people out and all of that. At some point, the Young Bucks might return. Maybe. I mean, you got to do stuff with them and Kenny, and I assume Perry will factor in somewhere in there, but who knows when that's going to happen. Like they got some stuff simmering that I hope they actually have a concrete plan for, because they've set up some stuff. I'm just a little worried that there's no follow-up with the stuff that they have set up.
Yeah. They've done a great job of building up for Revolution. I said it on Lyric Wrestling's post last night. I was like, Revolution has traditionally always been the best built AEW pay-per-view of the year. And this is going back to the first one in 2020, when really AEW had their first kind of creative stride, starting at the beginning of the year and heading into Revolution in 2020. And then 2021 had a pretty good build, but it's only remembered for the flat explosion at the end. But 2022, 2023, 2024, and now what's building up for 2025, those have all been great, well-built story, well-built pay-per-views with multiple different matches that you were looking forward to. And we're getting the similar thing here with the Ricochet and Swerve storyline and their rivalry, and the build up to that rematch has been very well done. MJF and Hangman Adam Page, I think they've had a very good build. The last week's segment, we praised so much. This week, I thought that I liked how much time they devoted to it in that opening segment. That opening segment was like the opening segment of the show was like 22 minutes, 23 minutes, and they accomplished a lot. Like they did the teaser for Copeland and the ambulance at the beginning. Then they went into setup for, they did the Hangman showing up in his street clothes. I love Hangman taking his keys out of his pocket before he started wrestling. That was a great tidbit that I don't think a lot of people noticed. He took his keys out of his pocket before he started wrestling, because he was wrestling in his street clothes, and he just beats up Aaron Solo for a minute and then gets the job done. And then he cuts a great fired up promo calling out Max. And then I love Max with the little wiping up. When I saw the bloody towel, I was like, oh, he beat up Christopher Daniels backstage.
Why did he have a towel bloody? Like,
because he's wiping his hands. He's wiping his hands. He did that. He was wiping his hands, and that's
there was like no blood on his hands though.
Because he already wiped it. That's why it's on the towel.
Feels like there would have still been some blood on his hands. That was a super bloody towel as well.
Yeah, his wallet and keys. His wallet and keys, power driver finisher, he took out of his pocket.
I like to think my scenario is better with MJF, and that he bloodied Christopher Daniels, and maybe he wiped his hands, but then he tossed him the towel, and he's like, "Clean yourself up, you're bleeding." And then Christopher Daniels had to try to clean himself up, and then he took the towel back. He did the Rush Hour bit. It's Rush Hour, SP3. It's Rush Hour. Come on now.
I haven't watched that movie in years, to be fair.
Can't get a Rush Hour reference? And
I've gotten people who's asked me this question, so I'll ask you: what is the better buddy film comedy, Bad Boy series or Rush Hour series?
I love the Bad Boy series. I'm probably gonna lean Bad Boys because I have more of an attachment to that, but I think Rush Hour is funnier. Like there's way more levity in Rush Hour.
If we were just comparing the first movies, Rush Hour wins.
Yeah.
And I love Bad Boys 1, but Bad Boys, I'm sorry, if y'all sleeping, but Bad Boys 3 and 4,
yeah, Bad Boys 3.
Awesome. Bad Boys 3 is the best one. It's the best one out of both series. Bad Boys 3 is the best one between either series. If y'all sleeping, y'all better wake the hell up, because the layers that they added were never done in the first two movies. I rewatched part 2 and I realized, I was like, it's just a whole bunch of explosions. I don't know why people like this movie. It's just Michael Bay and the most Michael Bay way.
Yeah, it rolls. I love the second one because of that.
I like the first one because it's Michael Bay before he got the budget. I like that. I like that. I like the simplicity. I like the simplicity of the stunts and the action scenes of part 1 a little bit more than part 2. I like part 2. It is funny, but it's just too much Michael Bayisms.
I like part 2 because it's like peak Michael Bay. That's when Michael Bay just had so much to play with. The friggin' chase scene on the highway, the longest highway ever.
With all the bodies coming.
Yeah, it's so good. Nah, I love the second one. I've seen the second one way too many times. But yeah, the third, I've not seen the fourth one. I need to actually.
I watched it on. I think it was it on my plane right here to the UK? I think so. I watched the fourth one there. Oh my God. It has probably one of my favorite scenes in any Bad Boys movie. And it's the fact that it was set up in the second movie.
So I know kind of what happens in the fourth. Okay. I assume the Reggie stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I knew that happened.
The Reggie redemption. The Reggie redemption scene. Yes.
Yeah. So I knew that happened already. That's one of my favorite scenes in the second one, though, is when they talk to Reggie.
That's the best scene in the second one. What are we talking about? I love the highway scene, but the best scene in the whole movie is Reggie going for his first date with Marcus's daughter.
I've showed the wife that scene. I was like, this is how me and Sam are when the kids start dating. This is how we're gonna treat all the kids, whoever they bring over. Like, this is how we're treating all their significant others. I've seen pieces of the fourth one, and the only reason I've seen pieces of the fourth one is so we went to this drive-in theater and they had two screens playing. So there's like a screen on this side and a screen on this side. And of course you sit to the screen that you want to watch and to whatever you pay for. So one screen was playing Inside Out 2 and the other screen was playing Bad Boys. And so we're watching Inside Out 2, but I'm like turning around and watching Bad Boys, everything. And I have no idea what's going on. I, of course, just see typical Bad Boy stuff of, oh, here's a bunch of guns and everything. So that's all I've really seen of the fourth one is random shootout scenes.
Yeah. The fourth one is not as good as the third one, but I think it is a good movie. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. It's a good Bad Boy style movie. And it probably, even though I love the simplicity of part one, is part two or part one is probably the leaster of the versions, because I think that 3 and 4, they just go so over the top with everything. It's great. But 3 is the best one because of the son storyline.
Rush Hour is good though. Don't sleep on Rush Hour. I don't think anybody actually sleeps on Rush Hour, but
I don't even think I remember part 3 though. Was there Rush Hour 3?
Yeah.
Was it 2 or 3? Okay, there was 3. Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure there was 3, and I think I saw only 3. I've seen 3 like once.
My memory when it comes to a lot of this stuff is not great, but I do remember the scene of clean yourself up, you're bleeding, and then at the end, Chris Tucker is like, wipe yourself off, you're dead. So that's what Hangman needs to come back with at Revolution. He needs to murder MJF. I'm always advocating for murder. He needs to murder MJF, toss him the bloody towel, like, wipe yourself off, you're dead, and then just walk out. That's it. No more MJF.
Makes sense to me. I mean, that sounds.
He got his tattoo removed. Now we need to just remove him from the promotion.
That was hilarious. I'm sorry. It was never a real tattoo. That's
Did
what
you
made
think it was a real tattoo?
I think people really did though. But no, I did like the segment. I thought it was a good follow-up to last week's segment. Last week's segment is probably going to be the peak of the build, but this was a good follow-up. Even though Christopher did, I don't know why they put the camera on him while he was still bleeding.
Yeah, that's felt like it should have just been like a pre-tape thing where he was already laid
exactly.
out and bloody.
He was already dead. Like, what do we do? Why is he dead?
Yeah, I don't know why. Weird production thing. Joel will complain about the production tomorrow when it comes to that. But otherwise, it was a good segment. Oh, Henry's saying I don't think that was really MJF's leg. Oh, do we need to do a leg investigation of MJF here? See if he had a leg double for this scene.
Imagine he had the leg double. Double. I mean, he was in Long Island. I did see that. I did see it was a person who was working for a Long Island tattoo removal place.
Let me rewatch this scene. Oh, I got to answer this question real quick.
All right. But yeah, I enjoyed that. And then I think the other thing in the opening like 22 minutes was set up with Chris Jericho and Don Callis forgetting their 2023 storyline and deciding to be friends again, as he basically gave him bounty hunter Brian Keefe to take the bounty match against Will Ospreay, and then led to probably Brian Keefe's best AEW match. I know the matchup with Eddie Kingston that before he got signed was great, but I think this was his best matchup since he joined up with the Learning Tree, that's for sure. And was it just me, or did Brian Keefe look like in the best shape of his career? Like, he looked ripped last night. He took off the little thing, and he did the little twisted around with his little poncho dress that he wears to the ring, and then he put it away. And I was like, yo, Brian Keefe, he been in that gym. I called it a couple of weeks ago that Adam Cole has returned to the gym, but like Brian Keefe, he returned to the gym as well, but he looked in even better shape, or he had the oil in the right places. He was flexing on him, but he looked good last night. I like the Will Ospreay finally becoming a TV wrestler, thanks to MVP, where he's not doing 1,001 moves. Now he's having regular, just good to great TV matches. He's not trying to have match of the year every time out, and that's going to make his pay-per-view matches even more special. Okay, so Power Driver Finisher said I'm not the only one that noticed that. Yeah, he looked in great shape last night, Brian Keefe, and that was a really strong performance by him and Will. I thought that was a really good opener to the show.
Val B says the MJF tattoo thing, it was the other leg. Also, the way they shot that, it could have been anyone's leg. All right, we're going to rewatch this segment. I can't pull it up on Twitter or on the YouTube because we will, get demonetized. His leg is not shown. That is true. It does look like, it almost looks like it's green screened. Like, I don't think it is, but now that I'm like paying closer attention, it almost looks like it could be a green screen.
Probably is.
I think it is.
Oh, that's just perfect. That's even better.
I'm convinced this is now a green screen, and they just had this footage of this dude lasering, and they're like, all right, we're gonna superimpose this onto onto the background here while MJF cuts this promo. Yeah, it could be anyone's leg.
We're gonna do a whole leg investigation. There needs to be a leg investigation. I'm pretty sure Joel's gonna have a full report. So we'll leave that to Joel. Because he did not like the tattoo removal thing, because we were to pull back the curtain a bit. That was one of our finalists to be our thumbnail for today if it was up to Jeremy. But I won out. I won out with my suggestion of Swerve and Nana because I thought that was the best segment of the show.
I thought Swerve and Nana was the choice. I was being facetious with the MJF tattoo removal. I didn't think we were going to stretch into, 20 minutes of material for MJF's tattoo. But now that we have to do an ITW investigation and we see that this might be green screen, maybe this should have been the lead topic. Joel's going to have to. Joel's going to need to see what the frame rates are behind the scene here. It does look like it's green screen. I'm not even kidding. Like, you look at his arms and the way they are.
Or how about you just pause it and just pause it at the point that you're seeing, and then you can share it with the screen. Because I think maybe you could do still shots. You can't do the video. You can do still shots.
If we get demonetized, I'm blaming you.
No, I'm you're talking to a guy that does still shots of Dynamite every week.
All right, so see, look at the arms, and they have like a highlight to them, like where his shirt and arms are.
Yes.
Can I zoom in? Hold on. Is that zooming for you?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay. I don't know. Like it looks flat. It doesn't look like he's like in that place. It looks like it's flat almost.
And didn't the thing say when it came up when the segment first started, it says earlier today, right?
Yeah, I can scroll back.
How can he be in Long Island earlier today when the show was in California?
It's a private flight. I don't know. Yeah, it says earlier today. There it is. Oh, all right.
He was in Long Island earlier today, and then he made it to California before call time at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
No, it was even earlier because it was remember, it was coast to coast. It was live.
Yeah.
So it was a 5 p.m. start time in California, meaning that he had to be there at least by like 2 or 1 o'clock, which is 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock. So like what?
Okay. Long Island to where were they at? Oceanside last night?
I'll tell you, New York to California, that's like a 6 to 7 hour flight.
Okay. It's it's about 6.5 hours. Nonstop.
So I'm starting this investigation.
But you got the Tony Khan. You got the Tony Khan jet though. So
nah, I'm writing notes here. This is good information to learn. It's a 6 to 7 hour flight. Doesn't matter if it's by helicopter or airplane. It's probably at the very least 6 hour flight, meaning that he had to be there by 1 p.m. Eastern time, which is 4 o'clock in no, it's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock Pacific time, which is 4 o'clock Eastern time, meaning that he had to be on his flight by at the very least 10 a.m., which means that he had to be at the airport or at the heli place by 9 a.m. So you're telling me he can get to the heli place? I guess the heli place must be near the appointment. Henry says, "Oh, let's say this appointment is at 8 a.m." How long does a tattoo removal take? He only has an hour window. This is ridiculous.
I also think like the tattoo removal places open that early.
Exactly. I'm gonna look at now. Is
this a private? Maybe it's a private tattoo place. MJF's got money. MJF's got money.
I'm looking this up. Long Island tattoo removal places. I am looking this up.
I mean, what time?
Now you've got me. You got me into this. Now I'm really into this. I'm dead serious here.
So what time do we can see outside here, you can kind of see outside. It looks relatively early. I will say that. It does look relatively early out there. It looks like the sun's kind of just coming up in this case. The tattoo. It does look like it's the last tattoo. Like that tattoo's completely gone.
Yeah.
And there's like no trace of the tattoo anymore. So yeah, it's completely gone and wiped. So I guess it would be the last one. Unless he
so to be fair, I just looked up random tattoo removal place, laser tattoo removal place, and they said they are available from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay, well, there you go.
All right, so I'm a little bit more better. I feel a little bit better about this because I was getting very upset. I was like, who did they think they fooling? Who did they think they fooling?
I still think it's a green screen. I'm still saying green screen here. But that's still okay. Let's say he gets in right at 8 a.m. Let's say it takes a half hour because it's his last session, and then the private airfield is 15 minutes away, so he's on the plane, boarded up by 8:45. So 8:45. This is given a lot of leeway here, by the way. 8:45, and then 6 hours to Los Angeles. 6 hours. What's the math on that? What time would it be?
Yeah, so if he gets on the flight at 10 a.m. Eastern, he's
he's on the flight at 8:45.
8:45? All right,
yeah.
So 8:45 is pretty much 9. So it's a six hour flight. We're being generous here from New York to California. Sometimes it takes like 7-8 hours for those flights, but I will be generous and say 6 hours. So he would be there by 3 p.m. Eastern, which is 12 p.m. California time. Pacific.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Henry. I didn't like how all this.
I was given a lot of leeway.
Like 9:30. Yeah, 9:30 is being generous. Like 9:30 if he's done by like 8:30 with the tattoo removal, or 8:45 with the tattoo removal.
Okay. Well, I was saying he's taking a private jet. I don't know how long these tattoo removals take.
And the private, even the private checks, it takes a while to get the gas going and everything going before they. It
was already good. He knew where he was going. It was already gassed up, ready to go when he got there. I'm giving a lot of leeway here.
Yeah, you're giving a lot of leeway. I'm not willing to give any of this leeway. And yes, Tim Betty, I want SP3 the Warren Commission report on this tattoo removal. I might have to show up on tomorrow's In the Weeds after I do a thorough investigation.
I still think it's a green screen, by the way. I'm not backing off of that theory, but we're spitballing on whether or not this is even feasible to get from Long Island to California and make the show.
I feel like we're being way too generous and we're being way too flexible. This is not even they messed up with the earlier today. It should have been earlier this week.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, we are being generous on a lot of this stuff. Tony, I forgot AEW is completely broke and they're not going to use a private jet just for MJF. And MJF claims to have a lot of money, but he still can't get a decent spray tan. So is that true that he has a lot of money?
Which Hangman called him out on. He doesn't like people with dripping spray tans to spit in his face. He was very specific about that.
All right, wait. Pause our finisher saying the sun angle can be seen right behind the tattoo guy. We mentioned the sun. It looks like the sun is up and that there is possibly 8 o'clock at the earliest. And Eric, we talked about Daniels punching himself on camera.
Yeah, blading himself on camera because they went back there too early, even though he should have just been dead. Like, why did y'all cut that early? The second week in a row that we had some type of miscommunication or something mix up, which we got to talk about. I don't know. Did you guys talk about Thunder Rosa?
Thunder Rosa. Well, we talked about it, but Thunder Rosa did come out, so I'll get her quote here because she did address the situation on that other morning show. And it was the first time
Me and Thunder are good friends. So Thunder Rosa, if you ever want to be on a real wrestling morning show, holla at me.
So Thunder Rosa said, first and foremost, safety has always been my priority at everything I do at AEW. Sometimes I sacrifice my safety for other people because I have to make sure everybody is safe from previous situations. For me, safety is always number one. Last week definitely showed me a lot in terms of how much people care for Thunder Rosa. I want to thank everybody that reached out to me last week. The respect and love means the world to me. There have been few people in particular whose words truly helped me. I really do want to say genuinely thank you. There are a lot of people from AEW in different places. I want to say thank you. You guys saw what happened. From that, I learned so much. The takeaways I have as a performer are always ask questions. Be sure of what you're doing in the segment. The segment didn't go the way we wanted to, and it showed. I love what I do, and I love my job. I now focus on doing things the right way to have a good product and to make AEW better. And then she was asked like if there was any type of drama coming out of it, and she said, no, there's no drama. We were all talking before the show and praising each other. We're trying to be as positive as possible. I enjoy coming to work, and I'm not the only one. Statlander was so supportive and nice. We're all going over stuff and receiving feedback. It was all positive. There's nobody trying to kill each other and stuff. There's no point. How are we going to grow if we're fighting? Mistakes are made. It happened. We have to grow. We talked, and it was fine. And she also talked about like making sure you talk to your producers about things. I still don't know exactly what was supposed to happen in this segment. It was certainly Rosa did not come out of the segment looking good though. And that was the biggest thing is she did not come out looking good. Whether she was supposed to hit them with the chair, whether they were supposed to run off, not sure. Based on what she says here, it makes me believe that they were supposed to leave. And then she kind of just pulled up with the chair shot because obviously she wasn't going to take a chair shot when they weren't expecting it. But she wanted to look like somewhat of a threat, even though they were just standing there and basically dismissing what was going on there. Just sounds like it was miscommunication or information not relayed to somebody, and everybody didn't look great and Thunder Rosa looked worse.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I wish that didn't happen. Like it's just a whole situation that I think most of us are just like we wish that didn't happen the way that it happened, but it did. It looked bad. No one came out of it looking good, and like you said, Thunder Rosa looked the worst out of the situation. I appreciate her even addressing it in the way that she did, and I saw some people being like, "Oh, she didn't really say anything." I was like, what did you want her to say?
She's not gonna bury anybody.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this was the best possible answer that she could give. So I was 100% fine with it. I retweeted the video clip as well. So yeah, I'm hoping that they can turn this around, and they already tried to kind of play it into the whole storyline with Chris Statlander telling Rosa in the clip from Collision on Saturday that, oh, next time these bitches laugh in your face, you better swing on them and stuff like that. And maybe we get a spot where she's able to swing the chair and hit Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne. But yeah, I don't know who made that choice, but at the very least, it should have been Penelope Ford getting out the ring with Thunder Rosa with a steel chair. Megan Bayne, I can understand if it was like probably the direction was Megan, you don't cower away because we're trying to build you up as the monster heel, but Penelope Ford like hide behind her and stuff. I don't know why Penelope would then try to get into the tug of war over the chair and stuff like that, but yeah, it was just a big miscommunication. Hopefully they can recover this, and hopefully we still get this what seemingly was set up with this angle in the tag team matchup with Statlander and Rosa versus Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford.
I don't know why they posted it on their socials. Like they just kind of called attention to it that wasn't necessary. They should have just let it go. Like they should have just not, because obviously certain accounts are going to post it regardless. But I don't think AEW necessarily needed to post this portion of it. Like I get it's a big post-match angle, and so you want to post everything from the show, which is what they typically do. But if you see a situation like that where you know it's not good and you know something went wrong, you probably shouldn't call more attention to it by putting it out there on the socials and be like, what is going on with Thunder Rosa and Megan Bayne? Like, yeah, what is going on with Thunder Rosa and Megan Bayne?
Oh man, yes, that was a very good question. What is going on here? But hopefully there's some type of follow up on Collision. They built out a nice little card for Collision off the back of what I thought was a very I think that the reason that it was surprising how good the match was with the trios match with the Undisputed Kingdom versus Daniel Garcia and FTR. The names on there, if you said like a few months ago, oh, these are the names that are going to be in the trios matchup, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's going to be a great matchup. But it hasn't been like the best stretch over the last couple of months for Undisputed Kingdom. They've turned it around quite considerably since they got the hell away from MJF. Daniel Garcia, I think the biggest complaint going into the matchup is that Daniel Garcia is doing everything but defending the TNT Championship. And FTR, they said they wanted to go for the tag team titles. And before that, they were dealing with the Death Riders. So they've abandoned their friend. They've abandoned their goal, and now they're here teaming with Daniel Garcia. So the matchup, though, once they did the spot with the DDTs and the backbreakers on the floor, I was like, oh, they cooking. They cooking right now. This is a fun, a dope trios matchup. Like Undisputed Kingdom, every time when the bell rings for these trios matches, I'm like, you should just put the trios titles on these guys. Like, this would be something for them to do for a while, where they are really working well together right now as a trio. It's them, the Ops. You got a couple of trios that are going very well right now. I don't understand why we still got to put all these titles on the Death Riders. Why?
It rules. It rules that they've got like trios going and everything, and then Claudio explained that, oh, we went defending these titles because we are just better than all of these teams, and the talent pool is so shallow. And then they defended them a couple of times, and now they're taken out and they're going to be off television at least till Revolution. So it's like, well, they ain't defending them anytime soon as the trio is going.
Last title defense was on Saturday's Collision. But yeah, like I said, really, really fun trios matchup. And then I love the finish with Adam Cole. As everybody's doing like a 4-way submission spot, you have Garcia looking like he's going for a power driver, and Cole does Garcia's move, which is just a jackknife pin, which anyone could do, but it's Garcia's finish. It's Garcia's kind of finishing move more than even like the Dragon Tamer is. It's the jackknife pin is his move. So him getting caught like that was a very fun finish, and it sets up our TNT Championship matchup of Adam Cole versus Daniel Garcia, which I thought was going to be at Revolution. I was very surprised when they announced it for Collision.
Yeah, I was surprised by that as well. I'm like, oh, why are you putting this on Collision? Why wouldn't this be a match at Revolution? But I guess they're going to do it at Collision, and then maybe they got something else for Revolution. But based on the way the TNT title run is gone, I'm not exactly optimistic that that's going to be like there's going to be any type of match at Revolution. It feels like they might just run back this trios match at Revolution, honestly.
Which I wouldn't mind after last night. I wouldn't mind them running it back, because I was like, yeah, this feels like a matchup that you could have run at Revolution. So maybe add a stipulation, number one contender for the trios championships or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. But yeah, it does to carry on from I think Henry in the chat is saying maybe they are shortening pay-per-view matches. We got like 7 Revolution matches set. And yeah, if Garcia and Cole is going to be on Collision and it gets a finish, I don't know if they might go maybe time limit draw on that one to set up the Revolution matchup. You never know with AEW. So I think, yeah, we're probably going to get like an 8 to 9 match Revolution card, which is always the sweet spot for AEW pay-per-views.
Well, Big Boom is supposed to be wrestling, but they haven't done anything with that. And they announced that, or he announced that he was going to be wrestling on the show, but they haven't done like any type of social media promotion. Maybe he's not going to wrestle, and it was just they jumped the gun and they thought he was going to be cleared in time, or they thought they were going to have something set up, because they haven't done anything with it.
Let's be fair, Jeremy. It's the 0 hour. the 0 hour, they don't announce that stuff until the final Dynamite.
Sure. Like I agree. I agree with that, but let's also be fair in that the last time Big Boom wrestled, they built that up a lot on social media in the weeks and months leading up to it. And if you're going to do Big Boom and you have him as part of the show based on the social media following that those guys have, feels like you should mention that a little bit, at least on your socials. Get the whole feud with Keith Marshall until the final week was on social media. So I'm fine if you want to just keep it on socials like they did with QT, but you should probably start putting that out there a little bit because they have such a big following. It just feels like you're unnecessarily, if you have the match, if you don't have them, and that's the reason why you're not doing it, fine, I completely understand. If you have the match and you have him booked for the show, I'd probably be promoting that a little bit. Otherwise, it feels like you're leaving viewers and money on the table.
That's a great shout by Eric in the chat. Max Caster is the easiest person to do, because he could just do the open challenge, and then Big Boom comes out as the person who accepts it.
I'm completely fine if it is the Max Caster. Again, I would still be promoting it though. I would still make reference
I agree with your point. You are right that they have such a following that it's going to increase basically the visibility of your promotion for the pay-per-view by just saying, hey, they're advertised, they're going to be on the show.
They're going to be on the show and Big Boom's going to be wrestling. Yeah, Henry, they announced it. Big Boom and Big Justice announced that he was wrestling there. So it was more than advertised on Wikipedia. It was legitimately announced by both of them that he was going to be wrestling on the show. So yeah, if he's going to be wrestling, I'd probably advertise that. Look, if it is going to be the open challenge, obviously you don't want to be like, well, he's going to answer the open challenge. Truthfully though, if it is going to be an answering the open challenge, I'd go ahead and put that out as well. Just be like, yeah, it's going to be Big Boom and Max Caster. Max Caster is, he gets people talking on social media. I don't want to say he's good at social media because he's not fine. But like he knows how to build stuff on social media. So if he's going to go at Big Boom, like feels like that's a good feud to build on social media because Caster will play into that a lot. And obviously you have the TikTok following and the Costco guy following with Big Boom and Big Justice and even Rizzler. So yeah, if it is Max Caster, I wouldn't even do Max Caster open challenge. I'd go ahead and just say, yeah, it's Big Boom and Max Caster. Just go ahead and promote it.
They should probably do like a backstage on Collision on Saturday. Just do a backstage, say that Max is doing the best wrestler alive open challenge on the 0 hour of Revolution, and then Big Boo and Jay do the regular backstage segment where the guy is obviously just standing behind the cameraman, and then Big Boo and Jay and Big Justice walk in and be like, we're gonna accept the challenge because you're not ready for the boom. You're the best wrestler alive. Well, I'm the boom wrestler alive.
Hell yeah. That'd be a great promo, actually.
Boom!
We have breaking news. This more than sell your soul t-shirt. This is from PW Insider. PW Insider says, legit Leila Hirsch will be departing All Elite Wrestling. PW Insider has learned Hirsch's AEW contract expires tomorrow, and she will not be remaining with the promotion. Hirsch will be a free agent immediately at that time. So it looks like Leila Hirsch is departing AEW. She's been on ROH TV for the majority of her AEW run. I'm looking up when she actually last wrestled because it's been a while.
Final battle.
Was it Final Battle? Yeah,
Final
it was.
Battle against Red Velvet.
Yeah, it was Final Battle. So there you go. Looks like Leila Hirsch will be leaving. She was out for a little while after the Texas Death match against Diamante, which was a fantastic match. But
one of the best women's matches, probably the most underrated women's match of 2024.
Yeah, they should have. After that series with Diamante, they really should have done a little bit more. They just gave her the title shot against Red Velvet with limited kind of build, and then not on television after that. She was aligned kind of with Maria, and then of course Maria had her health issues and ended up leaving the company earlier this year as well.
She had the whole friendship angle with Rachel Ellering, and they kind of dropped that after the Ring of Honor Women's TV title tournament. And then the series with Diamante really kind of brought her back into the forefront. They had that amazing I think they had a street fight on Ring of Honor television that was really damn good. And then the matchup at Death Before Dishonor last summer was fantastic. And then she got injured in the finish of that matchup because she did the moonsault off the ladder, and I think her wrist or something hit the ladder on the way down, and that's how she got hurt. Yeah, she got hurt for a couple of months, and then she came back towards the end of last year, was immediately thrusted into like the TV title matchup, and I really thought there was a chance that she could probably win the TV title, but she lost that with Red Velvet kind of turning heel in the finish, and then we haven't seen her since. She's very talented. She's like, I think our good friend Kate has called her many times Little Lady Taz. That's the way she works. She does a bunch of suplexes, very technically sound. I think that she could be a very good pickup for a place like a TNA, who have really their knockouts division from a few years ago is not as strong as it is as it was a couple of years ago. It's not that strong right now, so they could use someone the caliber of Leila Hirsch coming in there and being something different to bring to the picture.
They could 100% use Leila Hirsch, because Joel and I have talked about the knockouts division, how it was what's a strength, and now it's like you got Masha, who's really good. And then you just got a bunch of people you've either beaten or have not built up. And then you have Tessa, who they want to build up. But the crowd's going to...
Who's very talented, but also a racist.
Yeah,
apparently. That's what the crowd keeps telling me.
Yeah.
Every time they do a live show.
Yeah, the knockouts division, no longer the strength that it once was. And Leila Hirsch would add some depth and honestly a little bit of the top end to the knockouts division, because I do think you can book her as a strong knockouts competitor. We'll see if that's what happens. It might be she might end up going to Japan. She might end up going elsewhere. No idea what Leila Hirsch actually wants to do, but
I would love to see her in like a TJPW or Stardom. I actually watched a Stardom match this week. What was it? Neo Genesis versus Cosmic Angels from the February 2nd Supreme Fight Show. Give you one of my star ratings this week. 4 3/4 stars. That was tremendous. That was a fantastic match. One of the best matches of the year so far. I would love to see Leila Hirsch over there. I think she would learn a lot.
Yeah, it depends on probably what she wants to do. If she wants to have a Japan run, obviously I don't think there will be a shortage of companies kind of wanting her if that's what she wants to do. And if she wants to go somewhere like TNA, they should immediately be like, yes, we will take that call. I don't know about NXT or WWE at this point, because their women's division already has enough depth and top end talent to where I don't know where Leila Hirsch really fits in the WWE women's landscape. But there's opportunities elsewhere outside of WWE that she definitely has. She could be a potential player in. What is Harlem showing you?
I don't. And she was trying to show me one of her pictures. I was like, "You want to say hi?" She's like, "No."
I don't know about a coach, Eric. She's only 28. It's not like she's
no. Yeah, like, what are we doing? What are we doing, dog?
Yeah, we don't need to make her a coach already.
Like that's what they should do to Thunder Rosa. We could have been deprived of Thunder Rosa if we just made everybody an NXT coach. What are we doing? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing her in like NXT either. I think that she would. I mean, NXT is just like the richest women's division in North America.
I don't know where she fits in NXT. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a spot for her, but they have so many talented women that I don't know where she actually plays into there.
Yeah, you said there's a spot for her. I don't know if there's a spot for her because the big three is what it is, and then everybody trickling down from there is still improving and getting better, like your Lola Vices, your Sol Rukas, your Jada Parkers, and stuff like that. And then underneath them, you got your Carmen Petrovic and your Jasmine Nix, and then underneath that you got the JMS from WWE LFG. The only clip I've seen of LFG is JMS, the Olympian, the Olympic gold medalist. Man, that girl's got a bunch of charisma. She's gonna be a future NXT champion. Let me just tell you that. But speaking of NXT, got some news to discuss from NXT because a certain champion is apparently injured.
Yeah, I don't know how much there is to that. I think PW Insider put something out. I know Sean said he hadn't heard anything, so I don't know what the real story is there. That's why I was kind of leaving that to be. I mean, we know that they're doing title versus title match. A lot of people thought
which didn't make a lot of sense to me, but like after these reports came out, now it does make a little. Everything makes a little bit more sense to me because, so basically what happened was. First, it was Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live. He didn't want to spoil the matchup, so he was very vague. And he says the reason why they're doing the champion versus champion matchup at NXT Roadblock is because between Stephanie Vaquer and Julia is that one of them is banged up right now, and they wanted to do the title match now to give them time to recover and heal up. And then I guess Mike Johnson heard that and was like, oh, let me look into it. And he reported for PW Insider yesterday that the person that is hurt is Julia, which I'll be honest with you. When I saw the report, and I know, we're going to wait on Sean. This is merely, reporting and speculation. We're going to wait on Sean to confirm these things. But when I heard that for the PW Insider report, I was just like, well, that makes a lot of sense because she was hurt before she got here. She had that wrist injury at the end of her Marigold run. She didn't really rest with the wrist injury. She's having great matches with Saray right before she left to go to NXT a couple of months before that. But she healed up for a couple, like 1 or 2 months before she came to NXT. And then they really just fast tracked everything with her NXT run. She had that title match with Roxanne in October, which was only her second match in the company. Then her first big PLE match after that was the tag team match, which was really more of a showcase for Stephanie Vaquer. Then she was in the deadline match, the Iron Survivor matchup, where she had her moments where she was in there with Stephanie and looking good and having different exchanges, but they didn't like give her like a full-fledged like Julia match. We still haven't really got that. And we got a little bit of that with the Roxanne matchup at New Year's Evil, but then it just felt like they were really kind of fast-tracking this title run. Like the 4-way matchup at Vengeance Day, that felt like that could have been at like Stand and Deliver. And then in that matchup, I'm a big fan of Julia. I love Julia. I've loved her since she was in Stardom. Her and Bayley did not look great in that matchup, and I did see signs like during that matchup. I was like, she looks a little slower. She looks a little banged up. So I think that the reporting made a lot of sense to me because it felt like they had fast tracked her whole NXT run where she wins the title just 4 months after she got there. Then she's doing a title versus title match a month and a half into her title reign. And against the Stephanie and Julia matchup feels like a stand and deliver match to begin with, but you got to sell tickets for Madison Square Garden. I understand, Sean. But all of this kind of makes more sense if Julia is injured.
If she's that banged up that she needs this much time off, then I get why you would fast track this match. If it's something that she could take time off and you could just do it, stand and deliver, I'd probably rather they go that route and just keep her out of the ring until stand and deliver. Like, I think most people would be understanding if the champion isn't wrestling on every single show. They do that on all their other programs of like, when was the last time the champion actually defended the title? You can put her in, she did the 6-woman tag team match the week before with Stephanie and Jordan.
But she didn't do a lot.
Yeah, you can put her in those situations to where you can just kind of hide her and where she's still in the ring, but you can you can hide her and kind of let her heal up while you're waiting for her to get healthy. Obviously, if it's bad enough that she's going to need to do a match and then take time off, then completely different story. So I guess we'll see how the match goes in a couple of weeks between those two. I'm now, like I said it yesterday on the show, if they're doing this match, they should do a clean finish. I don't like a screwy finish. A time limit makes sense if you're just going to run the match back at Stand and Deliver. A time limit doesn't make sense if you're just going to do it and then it's like, well, look how both they great are. Look how great they both are, and they're just going to go their separate ways and defend their titles. Like that doesn't make any sense to do a time limit in that sense. Same with a screwy finish. Like if you're going to do a screwy finish, unless it's Roxanne getting involved and then you're trying to do a triple threat match, Stand and Deliver, whatever it might be, but then it should still feel like kind of both titles. Otherwise you're just kind of handcuffing the North American title to the women's title for Stand and Deliver. Like a screwy finish doesn't make a whole lot of sense there. I'm like, if you're going to do this match, you should probably have a clean winner. And then that person either needs to lose the title before Stand and Deliver or needs to pull double duty at Stand and Deliver. And that seems like it might be a possibility if potentially Vacker wins and she might go into Stand and Deliver doing double duty.
I can see it. Honestly, I thought after Vengeance Day, we were heading to the big three in a triple threat with both titles on the line, but they were going to do it. They were going to do the Jericho Angle Benoit WrestleMania 20. WrestleMania 2000, excuse me, where it's there's two pinfalls, one pinfall for the North American Championship, one pinfall for the NXT Women's Championship, and then you could get over, Jordan Grace, you can get over Stephanie Becerra, you can get over Julia. Either, one can walk out with one title, the other can walk out with the other title. And I think that Stephanie Becerra has been the better of the two. She has looked the better. And that's another case of where I'm hoping that all of this, the reason why Stephanie has kind of felt like she is like a tier above Julia is because of this injury, the injury that she had before she got here and the apparent injury that she's gotten in the time that she's been here since. So, or maybe it is just that injury from before she got here just got worse as she's been trying to adapt to the WWE style. So it's an interesting story. It does make the outcome of the Roadblock matchup more intriguing, because I was like you, I was like, why are you doing this? And why do I have the feeling that we're not going to get a winner? When Ava just told us one woman's going to walk out with both titles, I still don't believe you. You're the Rock's daughter. I don't believe a word you say. But
Wants the souls. She's like, one person is going to walk out with both titles and one soul.
Both souls. It's a soul for a soul.
No, it's gonna combine. They're gonna combine the souls, so it's just gonna be one soul between them.
All in one. But yeah, that's gonna be very interesting there. So yeah, this report does make me more intrigued to see if they are going to put the title on Stephanie, because I think that Stephanie is the best women's wrestler on the NXT roster right now. And I think they'll probably do Jordan Grace versus Roxanne at Roadblock as well.
Yeah, I thought they were setting that up on Tuesday. It looked like they were just going to go ahead and announce that, but they didn't. They just they did the segment, and that was the end of it. I imagine it does get announced next week.
Yeah, I think the reason they didn't announce it on Tuesday's show is because Roxanne's in Elimination Chamber.
Makes sense. That doesn't really stop them before, but that also makes sense. We got tonight. There's ROH allegedly, and there is TNA, which is
we did have one more thing to address from Dynamite. We talked a little bit about.
I put this in this is the biggest thing that happened on Dynamite. Maybe unless we're not on the same page here.
No, go ahead.
Harley Cameron. Dub for Harley.
My girl.
Get the Jameis Winston eating the dub right there for Harley Cameron. Yeah. Put the title.
She looked good.
All the titles.
She looked good. She's getting better and better every time out. Our girl Harley, slow and steady wins the race. You don't have to skip ahead. You don't have to graduate on week 1 of your graduation. That's not how this works, people. It's not how this works. Slow and steady wins the race. Harley Cameron is winning the race. And my God, what a main event. I think last night's show would have been a solid regular 7 out of 10 Dynamite. But the reason why it's a very good Dynamite that everybody's raving about on social media is goddamn that main event was awesome.
Orange Cassidy is the best wrestler in the promotion. Yeah.
That might have been my favorite Orange Cassidy match in months.
So good. Takeshi was amazing in the match. Like he's such a strong
That was a
base.
G1 match. That was a Takeshi G1 match right there.
Oh, he's so good. I don't know how they don't go full bore with this man. I guess because he's also got a New Japan and a DDT and a CMLL and all these other contracts that he has, but he's so good. He is so freaking good. Him and Omega are gonna obviously tear it down at Revolution. A little surprised that there was no Kenny last night. I think we were all kind of just waiting. Okay, when's Kenny gonna come out and just kind of stand toe to toe there with him? As Kenny was like, well, I know who I'm facing. I showed up last week. Takeshi didn't further beat down Orange Cassidy, so I don't need to come out and make a save or anything. All right, I'll just chill back here. No problem. No problem, guys.
Well, they did announce that we're going to hear from Kenny Omega on Collision, and I do like how they've really made it a cohesive product now, AEW, where things are bleeding into Collision. Collision bleeds into Dynamite. We even got like a recap of the video package with Mariah May and Timeless Tony Storm on the show, and they said that we're going to have an update on Tony Storm's condition following that attack on Collision. So I like the fact that they gave you something they gave you a hook to watch on Saturday if you want to hear Kenny Omega's reaction to Takeshi getting the win. And I like the focus on Takeshi at the end. But my Lord, that tilt-a-whirl DDT into a brainbuster attempt, into a stun dog millionaire attempt, into a blue thunder bomb might have been my favorite sequence of the year so far. That was I watched the match again this morning just to see that one spot.
It was too choreographed. I didn't like it.
Too choreographed for him. Too choreographed for him.
And
shout outs to Billy Starks checking off a bucket list, doing a segment with Mercedes.
I thought Big Billy should have smacked Mercedes. Just gone up to her, backhanded her out there. I did like that Mercedes loves the title so much, but she sees Momo with a bat and she's like, I don't give a fuck about these titles. I'm getting out of here. Just drops them. It's like, never mind. There's a woman with a bat. We gotta change course here.
Yeah. And I love how this one segment plays into Billy's current storyline with ROH, because she's getting in Mercedes' face, which could be the start of Athena Mercedes, which everybody has been hearing. A loud minority is becoming a majority of people that's like, that should be the match at All in Texas. And also it's her standing side by side with Momo, who just straight mollywopped Athena with the bat at Wrestle Dynasty to win the International Women's Cup. I'm just hoping Los Angeles gives a damn about this matchup, because that's all we need. All we need is the fans to give a damn and react to Momo like she is somebody, and I think they will deliver at Revolution.
Even if they don't react to her during the entrance, by the end of the match, I trust that they'll get the entire crowd into it. So I'm not super concerned about the in-ring when it comes to Mercedes and Momo. Louis sends super chat. Cameron Crazies love ITW. He's going to get us sued by Duke. It's going to happen, unfortunately.
The real Cameron Crazies. Or as I like to call it, the Harley Holics. Like
Harley Holics. Oh, that's good. I like that. They should put that on a t-shirt.
Come on. I'm giving y'all stuff. The Mercedes Muppet and Harley Holics. We need it all. And of course, Susan, what was it? Suzette Bennett. She took her life. She took her dream.
Yeah. Promo, yeah.
Suzette Burnett was the one who
She's
dreamed
like,
to be
oh,
a
this is a
wrestler.
great dream. I'm gonna take that. Kind of a heel move, honestly.
It is. She's great.
I do feel bad that Deanna and Taya are just like, you guys are losers again. And Deanna's like, we got another piece coming. Probably would have been a good time for that piece to show up. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading or thinking too far ahead here of like, if you're losing back-to-back matches to Harley Cameron, again, I think Harley Cameron should be winning matches. But if you actually have a plan for the vendetta, you should probably execute this instead of here's a bunch of losers adding another loser to the group.
Like they really, I would suggest probably my two picks to be the newest member of the vendetta would be Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, because of their relationship, Deanna and Britt, and that's a reason to bring Britt back into television and give her a role that makes somewhat sense. Or if they want to sign someone new, Sonya Deville would be a good reaction. We'll get PFC 2.0.
We don't need PFC 2.0. That sounds terrible. That sounds.
Hey, are you trying to tell me you didn't like Pure Fusion Collective?
I like the pieces in Pure Fusion Collective. I thought they were, when the first introduction of them, they actually had a little something, and then they gave them the name, and it's like, nope, they ain't going nowhere with this name. Sorry, they just ain't.
Camille's a good shout. Camille's a good shout.
Is Camille a good shout? I don't think there's anything wrong with Camille, by the way, but they had her look like an idiot throughout the entire Mercedes story, and then Mercedes just cast her aside, and then she got attacked, and she hadn't been seen. There ain't a whole lot of equity in Camille right now. So I don't think Camille is that great of a shout. She gets introduced, and it's like, oh, cool. The person who helped Mercedes accomplish literally nothing is joining this group of losers. How's that going to go?
Are you stupid or are you dumb?
Why do you keep doing that to her? Why do you keep doing that to this poor girl?
It's Mercedes that commented it. What do you want me to do? I didn't book it. I didn't book any of that stuff. I would have never paired them up if I booked it.
Do you know she was once the longest reigning NWA Women's World Champion of all time?
Yeah, that's when the title actually had some value. I mean, now any NWA title is existing in a world unto itself. I mean, Kinsey Page is the women's champion, and I like Kinsey Page. Kinsey Page is actually really fantastic. It's kind of unfortunate that she's held this title for like 2 years now, and no one is paying any attention to it.
No, they haven't. I think people stopped paying attention like midway through Camille's reign.
Yeah, I mean, Camille's reign got a little long in the tooth. It was basically like once Aldis left, everyone just stopped paying attention to the NWA period. It's like, oh, Nick's out? Like, what's going on here that Nick is gone?
That really was the turning point where we were just like, well Nick Aldis is not there anymore, so like that was it. Like, because already LA Knight left, Eddie Kingston left, Thunder Rosa left, Serena Deeb had a cup of coffee over there and left.
Then they had to do a bunch of cocaine on the air, which ruled, but there was no follow-up. That's where they dropped the ball. They should have just kept doing coke on the air. Like, hell yeah, I'll watch this show. You guys are just going to do a bunch of drugs? Sounds awesome.
I like it.
Billy Corgan's yelling at Matt Cardona. You go to hell, Matt Cardona. You go to hell and you die. All right, Billy.
Yeah, that's the last match that I saw too, Louis. Was not Tyrus' last match, but I saw the Tyrus and EC3 matchup, and I was like, all right, I needed to watch that, so I had a worst match of the year. So, and then I just moved on. That was the last time I watched it. That was what, 2023? That was the last time I watched NWA.
Yeah, that was putting the title on Tyrus choices.
Yeah. That was when it was like really bad. Like that was when I was like, yep, I'm not covering this anymore. I'm not going to pay attention to this.
I couldn't even do it. Like I did a bit where I would cover it, so I just like make fun of it because it was like funny. And I'm like, this isn't even like good bad wrestling. This is just boring, like non-existent heat wrestling. Like it's not even fun. It's not even fun to like make fun of. Like, ah ha ha, look what happened here. This was funny. It's just like, this isn't even like fun. Except when they're doing coke. More wrestling companies should just do a bunch of drugs on there. Be great.
Seems about right.
Give me the book to run ROH so I can have all these wrestlers do some drugs.
This sounds like the wave. Me, you, and Kate needs to be the ROH booking team.
I'd overrule all of you. You guys,
I know you would. Yeah, Kate would want to do like pure wrestling. I would want to do. You would want to do people doing coke and people dying, and I would be somewhere in the middle where I want a little bit of both of those. I think that would be a good balance. That's a nice balanced team right there.
I would have. Oh yeah, Henry's mentioned it. I would have the GOAT, Blake Christian, put all the titles on him. I would have him come out. He comes out with a new vanilla baby every single time. And by that, I mean like a white child. Like he always has like a vanilla baby and he passes the baby off. This is a total babyface move, by the way. It's like Bret Hart's sunglasses, but he's giving kids to the audience. Why are you shaking your head? This is awesome.
We're just giving away babies? What?
Yeah.
New white baby?
We're repopulating the force out here, SP3. What good is sunglasses? What are you going to do? Those are only like cool for maybe 12 hours out of the day, if that. A baby, that thing's good for potentially up to like 70, 80 years. It's going to take care of you when you get older.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Seems about right.
Get sunglasses. Yeah. How often are you going to use those things? Blake Christian rules. He's literally giving you a child.
I just like the pose.
Nah, Greg, you don't get it, Greg. White people rule this country, sadly. That baby's gonna help. That baby's gonna help. Like, I got a white kid. You're gonna do something bad to me? I have a white child. Like, okay, he's fine. This is true. We just need the white child. I'll be like, see my white child? I have the complexion for the protection when I get stopped by the cops. But I did want to share something in the chat if you don't mind. Okay.
Because I got notified by my editor. My latest list has dropped, so I wanted to share it with y'all in the chat. Oh, it went to.
All right, let's go through this list and let me make fun of it.
Yeah, of course. That's why I wanted to share it live on air with you, because I was like, literally, I got a message from my editor that he dropped it, and then I got a message from Ricky Uchino who says, "I for one am looking forward to the rationale and cordial discourse that will come from your latest list, because of the last time I made a list of this manner was my top 20 greatest WWE wrestlers of all time, which got me a lot of heat. Did I tell you that the Black Wrestling Podcast saw my name and was like, this is a list made by 5 people and 4.5 of them is white. And I literally went on their podcast and I was like, yes, I am SP3. Apparently 5 people and 4.5 of them is white.
Why would they assume it was 5 people?
No, because it's Sports Illustrated, so I think they were making like reference that most writers on Sports Illustrated are white. To be fair,
but it says like your name in the byline.
I know. I don't know, but even who is it? WrestleJuice, our good friends, Steve and Larson. They critiqued my top 20 list, and they was like, Sid Pollard sounds like an AI name. Sounds like an AI. Literally, someone in their comments was like, Sid Pilar, SP3, watching this video, like, what the hell? What the hell did I do? And then Steve responded, was like, SP3, we love him. Oh my God, Sid Pilar. Like, I had multiple people who was like, Sid Pilar the third. I did not put that together. That's SP3.
All right. Let's see here. So it is. I just spoiled the number 10. 10 greatest WWE women's wrestlers of all time. All right. So I'm gonna assume, based on your list, I'm not reading all this. We're just gonna look at the numbers like everybody else does. We're just going with like WWE accomplishments and WWE achievements. Okay. Then that helps narrow it down a little bit. All right. Alundra Blaze / Medusa. Okay. That seems fine at number 10. Yeah, I can't complain about that. Bianca Belair. Okay. All right. And then like seems fine for right now. Yes. Asuka. I might have Bianca over Asuka. I don't know.
I mean, there's an argument for that, but when I really looked at Asuka's accomplishments, like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and she's been there for 10 years now. So
Asuka has been there for a long time. That's fair. All right, I can't be too mad at that. China, okay, yeah, she has some men's titles that helps boost her resume. So okay, Bayley, she's been there for a while and has a whole lot of accomplishments. All right, so 5 left. All right, let me try to take a stab.
Yeah. Let me see if you could guess the top 5 before you scroll.
Okay, Becky, Charlotte are obvious too. I feel like Sasha's there because she won like 18 world titles but didn't defend any of them. So I think those are 3. Trish and Lita as the other 2. Those are going to be my top 5 that you have. All right. Sasha, yep. Okay. Yeah, number 5 makes sense over or I guess under the other 4 that I named. Lita, I feel very confident in my top 5 that I picked.
Okay, spoiler. You nailed it right on that. You nailed it right on that.
I feel very good. Lita was the one I was like kind of unsure about, but I was like, she has to be top 10. I don't know why she wouldn't be top 10. So yeah, she has to be somewhere on this list. So I figured top 5, and I couldn't like think of somebody else if not Lita. Like the only other name that like comes to mind, like you're gonna put AJ Lee there, you're gonna put Victoria there, but it didn't feel like
you can scroll down more and you'll see my honorable mentions. Okay. You literally are naming. Now you're guessing my honorable mentions.
Let's see. I didn't think they would be top 5 though. I figured they would be maybe in the top 10. But once we got to the top 5, I was like, yeah, it seems like it's got to be these 5. Trish number 3, and Charlotte number 2. So Becky number 1. All right, I can't be like honestly mad at this list. Like I think it's where it should be. Sirianna mentions Bella Twins, Mickey, Beth Phoenix, AJ Lee, and Victoria. Yeah, those are probably the right honorable mentions as well. The only like I'd have Thea Hale at number 1, obviously.
Well, obviously you would, yeah. I will give Eric credit. Yeah, Rhea Ripley was a tough one because I really wanted to get her even in like the honorable mentions, but like Rhea's rise really starts like the end of 2022 into 2023. So we're really in the midst of Rhea Ripley building her legacy that will probably make her the top 10 when I redo this list. And when my editor tells me to redo the list in like 2-3 years, she'll probably crack the top 10. But for right now, I didn't think that she was above the ladies that I listed. Molly Holly is a good one. As far as Kelly Maurice, guys, I think that y'all are just prisoners of the moment. Yeah, became friends. Fans.
They're trolling. Everybody's trolling. Nikki Bella should be there though. Longest reigning women's champion of our era.
I feel like Nikki Bella by herself. No, the Bella twins.
What?
They were my number 11. The Bella Twins were my number 11. The Bella Twins together, because that's so unique. They're twins. They're always going to be tied together, and their impact. Most of all, the reason why I was like very much debating putting the Bella Twins at number 10 over Alundra Blaze is that their presence on Total Divas. Total Divas is like, if what's the one thing that makes their legacy like above everybody else? Total Divas. Total Divas created so many different wrestling fans, so many different wrestlers from nowadays. Like, I think that Nikki Bella is great on her own. She's a top 20 star on her own. But the Bella Twins are like almost near top 10 for me together.
Nikki Bella on her own should have been top 10. And then with her sister should have been top 5. Above Lita. I think Lita's run.
What are you talking about, Henry? AJ Lee was one of the main names in my honorable mentions. You guys got to reread it. Oh, click on the link. Click on the link, guys.
No, I would. Lita's run was overrated. That's my hot take.
Ooh, that is a hot take.
I'm gonna get the Lita stands mad at me.
Word. They're coming for you. They're coming for you, not for me.
Lita was good. Lita was good, and she was a huge star too. Like the reaction she would get, whether it was with the Hardys or with Edge, her work is honestly like a heel manager with Edge is some of the best work of her career. It's
I agree.
So now I understand why Lita's top 5. I mean, I said she was going to be in the top 5. I don't have a real issue with your list unless I'm going to troll you and say the Bellas isn't really a troll. Like they legit.
No, it's not. No. No, but I like discourse like that. I like being like, being able to hopefully I get called up to go on some podcast and talk about my list. And I would say like probably my one regret, or the one person that if I would redo the list today, probably I would put the Bella Twins above Alundra Blaze. Everybody else I think should be in the top 10. Alundra Blaze was the one where I was like, I had a couple of different names. Everybody in my honorable mentions, plus like a few other names like Sable and stuff like that had the big star power, that were the number 1 women in the company. Reason that Becky Lynch is number 1, I keep emphasizing, and the reason why Becky Lynch was the only woman on my top 20 WWE wrestlers of all time, she's the only woman that was ever number 1 in the whole promotion, the number 1 star. Regardless of how many accomplishments Charlotte Flair got, she was not number 1 when Roman Reigns went down with leukemia. Becky Lynch was.
So did you put Alundra Blaze in there because you felt you had to have somebody from like that first era?
That, and the fact of she was so good at wrestling, guys. Vince McMahon said, I have to do women's wrestling. Like the fact that you get like this, I think we talked about this before. Political power and being good enough to get someone like Vince to be like, hey, I got to bring back the women's title after it's been defunct for 5 years. Like, yeah, Alundra Blaze deserves to be on that list.
I was gonna say the Moolah Eraser, but I mean,
yeah, I was not, dude. I got so many people who were like, so many people who told me like Moolah, or so many people that told me like Wendy Richter, and I was like, I don't want to talk about Moolah at all on this list. So I can't even make an argument for Wendy Richter being on my list, because I was like, she's so connected to Fabulous Moolah. I don't want to talk about Moolah. I'm good.
Eric makes a good point with Ronda Rousey. Short run, but a lot of accomplishments in that short run.
If the list gets expanded to like top 20, Ronda's definitely going to make the list. Like that rookie year is one of the greatest rookie years in WWE history.
Still below Nikki Bella.
Yeah. The Bella Twins are number 11 already. I'm spoiling my top 20. When I expanded to top 20, Bella Twins are 11. I'm calling it already.
Joel has sent me a grifter thumbnail that we could have used for today, but we did not. So here you go, everybody. That's what we could have gone with.
What, red-handed? That's a great shot. Joel is too good at this sometimes, I must say.
Maybe he ends up changing it. I don't know. We will see. But that is what he went with. Oh, Henry mentioned Paige. It's a good shout.
That's a good shout. Definitely, it definitely would be in my top 20.
Kind of a short run for Paige, but yeah.
That's why she couldn't make the top 10.
All right,
Like
well, you're wrong.
AJ Lee would be over Paige for me.
AJ Lee over Paige. Okay. I mean, Paige did beat her on her first night on the main roster.
She did.
Alexa Bliss Gamer is very mad that there's no Alexa Bliss.
No Alexa Bliss. I saw that.
I mean, in fairness, like Alexa, like
She's accomplished a lot.
yeah.
Like I only had like a certain amount of spots for active women.
You had
Like,
10
I was like, yeah, I had 10 spots, but I was like, I can't make it all the active women. Like you can't be just like, and yeah, you probably could make an argument that the whole list could be active women that are currently wrestling. But I was like, let's keep it to a modest. I was like, it can be more than half. So I just made it at 6, and then I had to put my legends in there.
You still rob Nikki Bella. I'm not letting this go.
But you can't touch.
I'm not letting this go. That Nikki Bella should have been part of this group. Yeah, in 6 years, good question by Louis. In 6 years, is Thea Hale number 1 or number 2? I think SP3 is just going to have to create like a whole new list to keep Thea Hale separated from everybody. Her accomplishments are going to be so big that it's like there's Thea Hale and then there's everyone else. So it's like, oh, here's the list that I would go with, just Thea Hale. Her accomplishments are so great that she has the whole list to herself. Here's the other lists that are not Thea Hale. That's my guess.
The non Thea Hale greatest women's wrestlers in WWE history.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna have to do in 6 years from now.
Sounds good. I think the Thea Hale, Roxanne Perez, maybe a Jordan Gray, Stephanie Vicaire, they might be in the conversation in another 5-6 years.
Maybe. I mean, Thea Hale definitely. The rest of them, I don't know about the rest of them.
This guy, biased.
Yeah, Joel loves Cora Jade. Joel's gonna put Cora Jade at number 1 because she's gonna go. He loves that. He gets to watch it every Thursday on TNA.
That goddamn awful song. I hate her song.
Is that what does it go? I don't know. I just know "Welcome to the Generation of Jade." That's like it.
It sounds like Tasmanian Devil. I don't know.
Is that how the song goes?
I don't know what it goes like, but it has sounds in it.
I tune out so much of the WWE music because it's all terrible.
It's all say a quote and then random rock beats or hip hop beats.
Yeah, it's all just so terrible that I don't know.
All right, so what do we have left? We have to do our preview for TNA Impact and Ring of Honor.
What are you previewing these shows for? How do you preview these shows?
I don't know. I don't know how you preview Ring of Honor. I barely know how to review Ring of Honor.
Matches are going to happen on ROH that won't mean anything 2 hours later. There. Yes. That's the ROH preview. If you want to watch some wrestling matches, go watch ROH tonight. You'll get some cool matches that don't have a whole lot of meaning behind them.
It's got a lot of CMLL talent on tonight's show. Yeah. We got La Catalina versus Lady Frost. Got, I think, Dark Panther versus Fiego, I think it is. Not sure. So yeah, some CNL influence. CMLL, they rocked it in that trios matchup from last week's ROH. So,
and then TNA.
That's our ROH preview.
Yeah, TNA. There's stuff happening, except apparently the world champion's not on this show at all.
Obafemi will team the NXT champion. There is a world champion here.
Yeah.
NXT champion Obafemi will team with the Hardys to verse the System to preview Roadblock. And that's all I know from this week's show, to be honest with you.
Tessa Blanchard must compete or be fired. That's a threat.
So I'm pretty sure the fans are going to be telling her not to compete. So,
dude, if we got an Atlantis Morissette appearance, that would actually rule. Atlantis Morissette.
Atlantis.
Who is Atlantis Morissette?
That's I guess she's related to Atlantis.
That's a good indie gimmick. It's Atlantis with like the mask and everything, but they, use like Atlantis Morissette promos.
To be fair, they would have to pay some gimmick tax to MXM Collection because they were the first one who came up with that gimmick.
Atlantis Morissette?
Yeah, they were when they had their rivalry with Atlantis Jr. after he beat Mansoor at Final Battle. They cut a promo where they was like, "We're going after your whole family, Atlantis Jr. We're going after Atlantis Senior, your mother, Atlantis Morissette." Like, it was a great promo. Great promo. Got your way to watch it.
I missed that one, but they're fantastic. That's good. Someone should do it. I don't care. Pay the gimmick tax to them. They could wrestle with one hand in their pocket. Orange Cassidy might be a little offended, but and the other one's flicking a cigarette at the opponent. Do something like that.
God damn. Did you know that Wrestle Ops has already gotten my list? List's been out for 2 hours. They already reposted it. It has 301K views. I hope I get that on the actual article.
Did they tag you?
No, they tagged Sports Illustrated.
That's lame. I
know, that is lame. I hate when they do it. Why can't they do via at True Hill SP3 of SI at wrestling _wrestling?
I'm going to come to your defense here, SP3. All right, I see it. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people. Man, there's 811 quote tweets. Oh, I'm not going to read these on air because I assume most of them are very mean. And
no, I got first one I saw is good, and I'm not going to scroll anymore. I have one Becky Lynch fan who put, "Life as a Becky Lynch fan is just taking W's after W's. I guess your fave is the most well-rounded performer with the mega stardom and legacy to go along with the skills. It really helps the GOAT case. I don't care about SI. I just wanted to do some Becky props." Then the second one says, "Becky at number 1, as it should." So
I'm quote tweeting this and I'm saying, "Hello, this list was done by @SP3, so please praise him or bury him."
Also fair. Also fair.
All right, there we go.
All right, so I see our good friend DS of Ring the Bell podcast says the Ring the Bell Discord channel exploding over this list.
Oh boy, I bet.
I just had to retweet DS. I'm about to comment on DS. Please, like, "I wrote this. Please tag me."
Yeah, tell them to watch this show where we talked about it and defended it. Come on now.
Or watch ITW on Fightful.
Yeah, SP3's out here, big time with the SI list that are getting the internet mad and everything. They could just watch this show and get all of his reasonings and listen to me grill him over why certain people weren't on the list. Said they're just going to be mad online instead of giving us some money and views and clicks.
You know.
I don't like any of these people. I don't like any of them. All right. Anything else we got going on? Oh, King Potato says Atlantis Jr. and W. Morrissey tag team. Oh, that's good.
That'd be perfect.
That's good.
Both together.
Yeah.
Both together.
All right, SP3. You want to plug anything besides your SI list?
Yeah, check out my XI list. If you haven't already, click on the link. We put it in the chat. I will be live in just over about 40 minutes with Jimmy Macaram to talk some more about AEW Dynamite on AE Ramble over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. We'll get Jimmy's thoughts on my list as well. I did talk to him a little bit before I wrote my article. He was one of the people that gave me some feedback on my list as well, so I'm sure he's going to rip me apart. So if you like seeing me get ripped apart by my friends like Jeremy does, check out AE Ramble later today.
I hope Jimmy is doing better after Willow Nightingale got some revenge last night. I hope Jimmy praises Willow for taking out Marina Shafir.
There you go. You know he's going to be happy about that. He was ecstatic. He was like, Willow, my God. That's all he said to me after that segment.
Pile driver finisher has a good point. Where was Natalya? Where was the boat?
Natalia's in the top 20.
All right, what's your top 20 then? Now we're going to make you do a top 20. All right, so you got the Bellas combined.
You gotta watch Tuesday. We're giving you a hook for Tuesdays in the weeds. Tuesdays in the weeds. I will have 11 through 20 ready for you.
Okay, we're gonna bury 11 through 20 now with SP3's list. Now we'll get really deep into things. All right, there you go, everybody. Tuesday, SP3 will reveal 11 through 20 on his list. We're back on this channel tomorrow, myself and Joel, with a brand new episode of In the Weeds. Jensen and I will be back tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm sure Jensen will have a lot to say about The Rock wanting Cody Rhodes' soul. Very much looking forward to how Jensen's going to defend Cody, who is an asshole, that he's not going to give up his soul. Or he might give up his soul. We shall see. We shall see. Cody's in the wrong. Kevin Owens is right. Cody sucks. Cody's a jerk. Cody is wrong. Kevin Owens is right. All right, everybody. So we'll be back at 6:30 with a brand new episode of The Spotlight. We'll be back at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow with a brand new episode of In the Weeds with myself and Joel. And then on Monday, we are on the main channel for our Sellout Monday main channel.
Like
Monday.
you said earlier, I'll also be on the Fightful main channel twice today. So you'll see me on the Elimination Chamber preview with Stephanie Chase and with Kate on the ROH post show.
And the post show doesn't really count.
Thanks.
It's an ROH post show, you know. I mean, it probably does better than how many people actually watch ROH, maybe, but it doesn't count. Come on now. ROH barely counts for itself, much less the post show. Everybody keep following SP3. Everybody go bury him for his list or praise him. I think it's a good list. I didn't have an issue with it outside of Thea Hale should have been in the number 1 spot and Nikki Bella should have been top 10. But otherwise, I thought it was a good list. Everybody, we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys. If you're listening on demand, leave us a good review on iTunes and Spotify. If you're here on demand on YouTube, still leave a thumbs up after the fact and subscribe to the channel after the fact. We'll catch y'all tomorrow in the Weeds, 10 a.m. Eastern.